it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary, and Dylan with Exotic Enrichment on Etsy sent me this sample of his Burrow Buddy snake hide because he wanted me to evaluate it for safety and usability. I know he originally designed this for Python Regis, royal pythons, and so keeping that in mind, because I have had adult royal pythons go through a paper towel roll, and obviously their body's way too thick to fit through the paper towel roll. But guess what? It was a funny moment. It was cute to see. I wish I'd taken a picture, but it was so easy just to rip the cardboard off and the snake was free. You can't do that if it's something solid. So what Dylan has thought of, in case the Python Regis is for some reason too big for this opening, which I can't imagine one being this big, but maybe you're using it for a different kind of snake. This hole is actually so big, I can't imagine any snake getting stuck in it, but I suppose it's possible. He has slit the plastic here, and this is a 3D printed Burrow Buddy hide, so that if for some reason the snake got stuck in here, you could pull this apart and rip the tunnel open and get the snake out. Also, there's no bottom to it. So if for some reason the snake was in this hide and you needed to get to it, you could just lift it off the snake and there's your snake. It also comes apart here where the tunnel and the hide connect. So I really don't see any safety issues with it, even for a large snake. And it is meant to sit on the bottom of the enclosure and then have substrate piled on top of it and leaving only this opening visible so the snake can go in this tunnel and actually be underground. You could also leave the top part visible so you could set a water dish or something on this part. I really like the idea. Now, as I was looking at this, the only issue that I thought I could possibly think of for safety is that the legs have sharp corners. But when you consider that this is going to be sitting on the bottom and it's going to have substrate piled around it, I don't know how the snake would come in contact with these sharp corners because they're going to lie flat against the bottom of the enclosure. But my only suggestion would be, if Dylan wanted to make this even safer and eliminate these sharp corners, is to make the legs rounded, just like the lid. That's really the only thing I could see as I was sticking my arm through it, as I was touching it all over, as I was trying to imagine all of the predicaments a snake might get in with this, or all of the ways that a snake might utilize this or put their body into it. There was really no safety issue that I could foresee, because you can pull it apart if you need to open the tunnel, and because you can lift this right off the snake. I just don't see any issues. So my next step is to try this with a snake. Now, I do have royal pythons. I also have rainbow boas and about 20 different species of snakes. I'm actually going to use this with my Korean rat snake. The reason is that snake loves to burrow underground. He also loves to climb. And so his enclosure is a combination of underground tunnels that I've made with hamster tubes and climbing things. So I thought I would try this with him because I know for sure that he will go underground and use it. And I'll show you what that looks like once I get it put in his enclosure. Okay, I have buried the burrow hide underneath several inches of substrate. So all that's visible is the hole, and I've put some substrate in the hole, and it leads through the tunnel and into the hide. And I've actually put dirt on top of the hide, but just a thin layer because I think I'm going to put his water there. So we will see if he uses this and how he likes it. Sargon the rat snake, Elaphanamallah Korean rat snake, is back in his enclosure, newly cleaned. This is the messiest snake by far that we have here. Anyway, everything's clean. His Burrow Buddy is in there. So this was his cage as a baby, and I took the top off and took the front door off and put it in the corner of his bigger enclosure. and he still likes to use it. He lays on top of it and drapes over this and onto this shelf. So it's just another feature in his enclosure now. So we'll see. He hasn't, I just put him back in here, so he hasn't found this yet, but it'll be interesting to see if he uses it. Right now, he's just wondering what's up because I completely did a deep clean of the enclosure and I cleaned all the glass and everything. So he's got to sniff it. This is what his enclosure looks like. And Sargon is 5 years old. So I was checking to see if Sargon was in his burrow buddy, and he isn't in it right now. He's in another buddy. And I can tell he's used it though because he has burrowed some channels and things underneath it that I could see when I shined a light in here. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see on the camera, but I can tell he's been in there moving dirt around. And so I know he's been in it. Although right now he is in this hide right there. And I ended up putting one of his water dishes on the burrow buddy. His other water dish is here. He's a really messy snake. So I usually let that one dry out and then I add water to it and let it overflow a little bit. And this is supposed to be his drinking water, but he is a really, really messy snake. In addition to the burrow buddy, I also highly recommend the Python Playground. You can also find that through Exotic Enrichment in their Etsy shop. And until next time, everybody please remember to always be kind and love your animals.